Welcome to That Grassroots Ramble, the show dedicated to providing you with football tips, hints, and the show where we just like to have a good old ramble about the game that we love.
Yeah, it's great to be back, and I'm absolutely buzzing for this episode because today we're talking about one of my favourite subjects, and that is football boots. I'm glad to say we're joined by our friends from FootSource. We've got Craig Ewing, who owns and runs, and we've got Ryan Palmer, an ambassador for FootSource, as well as a player for Margate FC and SC Dons.
Welcome to you both. I know Jason's really excited. I'm really excited as well, although I'm a little bit less informed on the subject of boots. So Craig, first things first, tell us a little bit about FootSource and how the company came about.
It was sort of born out of wearing and enjoying wearing boots myself from playing. A lot of it came from me buying a lot of boots myself and then not wearing and selling them on eBay, and then deciding that actually the more and more I was going to retail outlets and outlet stores, I was picking boots up and then selling them on eBay. And then it just developed from there, really. And I thought, well, actually, I can make something of this. So there's now a website. There's a fairly large social media account on Instagram. It's just taken off, really. In the last sort of 18 months, it's developed into a business, so much so that with my full-time job, I'm now going part-time come September. So I'm in a position now where I'm fortunate enough where it's gone really well so far. But hopefully it will go from strength to strength come September. So.
And Ryan, you're an ambassador for FootSource, and you play Saturday and Sunday football.
Yeah, I play too much. I play too much football.
A lot of travel.
Yeah, too much travel.
And you coach, so you're a really busy guy, and I suppose football boots are absolutely an essential that you have to make sure your tools are right for your job.
100%. I mean, who doesn't love boots? I mean, I've loved boots as a player. I remember my dad buying me my boots, and I've always said, like, real boots. Always got to buy, but they're very expensive. Very expensive. So when this partnership came about with FootSource, it was like heaven, because I'm a player. I play Saturday and Sunday. The amount of mileage my boots take, the amount of beasting, worn, they're my tools.
Yeah.
They're my tools. So when that come in that sponsorship, I said 100%. And just from there, we've really supported and pushed each other, and it's gone from strength to strength. So I'm very thankful for that opportunity from FootSource.
Good stuff. And a question for you both is, I'll be intrigued to hear your answer on this one. What makes a decent modern football boot?
I would say that the thing that people look for the most is probably the weight, how it feels. I mean, before the show, we were picking the boots up, and we spoke about some of the older boots, and just the weight difference is so extreme from sort of even 10 years ago to now. So definitely the weight plays a part, the comfort. I think the colour, it's very rare that you'll find a black boot these days. And I think a lot of the boots that are really popular at the moment are ones that are sort of a bit of a throwback design-wise to how they look. So when you were sort of growing up as a kid, what you wore, and some of the boots, Adidas in particular, are doing a lot of remakes of their very popular products from sort of 20, 25 years ago. And they're really, really taking off at the moment. And even like this one, for example, where the colour's very similar to the colour palette Nike used sort of 10, 15 years ago, and they've become really popular again now. So I'd say those things sort of make a good, popular...
Bit of nostalgia, people loving a throwback.
Sellable boot these days. So.
Ryan, what about from your point of view?
I think for me, growing up, what catches on, especially as a player, is your football role models. So I loved Ronaldinho. So when Ronaldinho got those Nike Tiempo Legends, the white one with the gold tongue, I said I have to get them. Regardless, I didn't even know how they felt. I was just biased because I loved Ronaldinho. I thought, if Ronaldinho's playing sick in those boots, surely if I get those boots, I'm going to be doing the same skills as Ronaldinho. Obviously, that didn't happen. But we won't talk about that.
We were talking about that off camera earlier, weren't we? About just if you feel the part in a pair of boots, it makes a big difference to your confidence as well.
Massively.
Yeah.
And as we can see, there are some amazing designs that you've kindly brought down with you, Craig. And one of the things that you've kind of developed with your business now is a subscription service, which seems really interesting. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I mean, the feedback on it has been really, really positive. Basically, how it works is we decided there was a gap in the market, really. Nobody really did a subscription service, especially not for football boots. We believe it to be a world first. There are 4 packages that relate to football boots, and then 1 package that relates to other things like sock tape and things like that. So the 4 packages, there's an elite, a pro, an academy, and a mystery package. So they cost a different amount of money per month. The subscription that people take out is at least 4 months. So, for example, you pay your first instalment, you get a brand new pair of football boots that are on that package that you've signed up to. After 4 months, you send those boots back, and then you'll get a brand new pair of boots. So over the course of a 12-month period, you get 3 brand new pairs of boots, which is really, really good. All of the packages are the top tier boots. So even though the top one costs £40 a month and the academy one costs £20 a month, they're all top tier boots. It just related to how easy they are to source and how much it costs us to source, basically.
I would love that as a player. I think just it's so much easier than sourcing your own boots and trying to, I've got to go and find. And you'd always be looking for the bargain for the best boots possible on eBay or something like that.
And also, from my point of view, coming as someone that doesn't wear football boots a lot, the idea of like having a change up throughout the season as well, like it's quite trendy, Ryan. Is it still something that you and the boys talk about in the dressing room? Like, who's got the nicest boots? Is it
boots? It's a fashion statement. You go in there and you look at other people's boots and you're like, do you know what? You look half decent. Yeah, you're a good player. Yeah, you're a defender. You're a winger. So I think a boot actually shapes the identity of a player. Yeah. And everyone's talking. So I said it, in my day, like back in the day, when if I was like 15, 16 and I had boot subscriptions, people would be all over it, like a phone contract. It's that attractable, that accessible. All players need it. So I think it's a great idea.
I think it's really good as well, that idea that you've got a subscription, you don't quite know what the package is going to be like, but you know you're getting a decent football boot. It's really, really good. Now, again, I said I'm a novice when it comes to the subject of football boots. And Craig, one thing I wanted to ask you about is Soleplates. What are they? Like, bring me up to speed with it all, and also share some tips with our viewers as well about what they need for the upcoming season.
Well, one of the things with regards to the subscription, you can choose the sole plate that you want. So that's one thing is absolutely guaranteed that you'll get. So if you want a soft ground sole plate or a firm ground sole plate, you'll get that. The size of the boot, obviously, you can choose as well, but we don't guarantee the colourway. So with regards to the sole plates, Nike seem to do loads of sole plates. There are 3 that traditionally are ones that are they sell on the retail market, and you can pick up in most shops. So, for example, the AG sole plate, which has conical studs, so they turn nice and easy on AstroTurf. They've got a bit of a toe guard at the front there, so it stops the separation, which is AstroTurfs are renowned for ruining boots, basically. So it's nice that they have that, and a lot of sort of non-league or grassroots clubs are using AstroTurf now. Not only is it a good money spinner for them, because they can hire it out, but also it means that the groundsman's probably got less work to do. So there's that one. Firm ground, also commonplace on the retail market. So it's for firm ground, basically. So the summer months are pre-season, perfect, really.
So would your subscriptions cover the different weather types?
Yeah, so another positive of it is you can have a boot for pre-season, which takes you, I don't know, to October, depending on when you sign up, and then after 4 months you might get a soft ground pair for next time. So yeah, the third and final one really that is always around on the retail, the shops, is the soft ground sole plate. But Nike developed a technology called anti-clog, which effectively it stops the mud sticking to the sole, which means that you used to get that. Yeah, people do really like the technology, but it's sort of seen as one that's used in grassroots football where the pitches are a little bit muddier, and the mud is supposed to drop off. There's sort of a common misconception where these boots are a lot heavier than SG Pro boots, which you can't pick up in retail stores. So this one, for example, I mean, the sole plate looks a lot nicer, and you can't necessarily pick these up in retail shops. But there's about a gram difference in the two. So it's a real common misconception that these are a lot heavier when in fact they're not. And then the final one I've brought along is another one that you can't get in shops, which is sort of like a traditional 6-stud sole plate. There's 2 sort of moulded studs on there, but really it's just the 6 larger studs. The only pro players really, or top elite players that wear it now, Hugo Lloris at Spurs and James Milner at Liverpool, they tend to wear this. And John Terry was wearing these with his sole plate before he retired. So.
See, now I'm getting an impression of that boot, like you said. I'm thinking of when I hear those players' names of traditional certain type of footballer. Yeah. And Ryan, you play on lots of different surfaces, probably 3G, grass. Yeah. How important is the boot in terms of those different surfaces?
I think it's essential, because I think with playing, especially with the different surfaces and weathers, you're going to need balance, you're going to need speed, you're going to need to be able to turn multi-directional. So I think it's very key, especially for young players or any players, to make sure that their boot bag has correct tools, correct studs. So if it's raining, you need to make sure you've got metal studs on. Otherwise, defenders, you might get in a position where you might need to turn and trap back. All of a sudden you've slipped, the referee's not going to blow up for that. That's your fault. So I think it's really important that players, if they don't understand the technology, they don't understand the sole plates, maybe there needs to be a bit more education around football boots. And as Craig said, that you can get that from the subscriptions, where you'll be able to understand what sole plate is for what sort of thing. So I think it's vital, really, really important.
Yeah, I think even the AG one was quite a new one to me. I play more on synthetic surfaces since I retired, now doing sort of a bit more six-a-side and that sort of stuff. But I wear my sort of traditional Adidas World Cups, and they do bite into the surface a bit more, and you've got to be a bit wary, haven't you, for injuries and that sort of thing. So I'll be definitely looking at a decent pair of AG boots now. Now, Craig, you supply players across the pyramid, including pros. But I think for all of us, we sort of sit there and think, well, all these pros now got decent sponsorship deals, they must just get their boots supplied, but that's not the case, is it?
No, not always. I mean, the elite top players would normally have a boot deal, or at least be rewarded in some way for wearing products that are the latest ones out. But a lot of pros want boots sort of, even that are just 2 years old, that you just cannot get anymore. So the retail shops don't have them. Their suppliers, whether it be Nike or Adidas or whoever, they're not still supplying the players, apart from Tony Cruz, who's probably like the most famous for it, really, just wearing the same boots he's been wearing for a long time now. But traditionally, they don't really do that. So they come to people like me who sell boots perhaps that aren't the latest ones out all the time. And I think, generally speaking, from speaking to pros a lot, the boots that they want are a year old or 2 years old. But even the ones that I still get pros come to me now with the boots they want that are the latest ones out that they just cannot get because they don't have boot deals anymore. It's not as commonplace as it once was, where Nike or Adidas or Puma or whoever just send bucket loads of boots into the training ground. It just doesn't happen as much anymore.
And what are the most sought after pair of boots at the moment, in your opinion?
The Phantom GTs, so these are really popular at the moment. People didn't go crazy for them at the start, but they've become a bit more popular the longer they've been out. These Tiempo Legend 9s, they've just come out a couple of weeks ago. They're proving to be really popular.
Really
they
nice.
came out.
I was going to say, I like those ones.
They came out in a couple of white colourways, and they sold out.
Quite like they're
instantly.
black. You just don't see many black boots anymore. And
Well, the black ones are still sitting. You can still get them pretty easily. The white ones sold out really quickly. They're drawing a lot of comparisons to the Nike CTR, which was very, very popular. People sort of hoping that Nike do a remake of the CTR, and people are saying, well, because of the pads and the inside and the outside, they're very similar. They're actually a lot lighter than the old CTRs were. But yeah, I think that's why a lot of people seem to like them. So.
And Ryan, what about you? Like, what kind of boot are the boys talking about? Or if you could get your hands on any boot going, which would it be?
I was talking to Craig about those prototypes, those all black ones. What brand was that again?
The Adidas ones.
The Adidas, yeah, the prototype. So I think all black boots are very rare. And I think as a player, when you see someone with all black boots, you kind of look further to see what sort of make, what design has it got on it, because it's a bit mysterious, all black boots now.
there are services, aren't there, where you can get them blacked out.
There are services where you can get them blacked out, but I think
You want an original.
you just want an original blacked out pair of boots. But I think the Mercurials, the Phantoms, GTs are a really, really common boot that people are talking about now. But there are loads out there. There are loads. So that's why there is a shortage for those boots. So if they've got someone that can actually source them and help them find them, it's an easier way in.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you what, my eyes have been opened so much into like the topic of football boots, and I think we've got a few more questions, a few quick fire ones, if you don't mind. So, are you ready, both of you? Right. Okay. First one. What is your favourite newly released boot?
Well, I'm either going to go. I mean, they've discontinued these now, but the Phantom Venoms, they're very popular, really comfortable to wear. And I think these, like I've already said, these are going to be big. And the release for these was quite hotly anticipated. So I think I'm going to go for these as well.
Okay, Ryan, and what would your
I would
boot?
say those pink ones there that you picked up earlier, these Mercurial.
Yeah, those ones caught my eyes.
Definitely.
Love the colour.
So I like the colour. I'm a bit of some people say like when you play football, the brighter the boot, the more that you're going to get smashed on the pitch. So I kind of like that challenge, so I always tend to go really bright.
That's the thing as well from my point of view. I think if a player's got bright boots on, they've got to back it up with some skill and trickery.
I don't think that's as much of the case that used to be perhaps when white boots first came out, and then anyone wearing them was just going to get kicked up in the air. But yeah, nowadays Yeah, you've got a plethora of choices. Quick fire question number 2. Ryan, I'm going to come to you first. What is your favourite classic boot?
Do you know what? It's on here already, and I've got to go for these Preds that David Beckham wear. These definitely bring me back to the days where I scored a few, like David Beckham, to be fair, free kicks, and I feel like it's only down to the boot.
It's all the whip, isn't it?
Whippage. So definitely these, 100%.
Yeah, love those. And Craig?
I'm going to go down the Predator route as well. So I'm going to go for the accelerators from 1998. Just remind me of Zidane, Beckham, that 98 World Cup. I'm going to go for them. Favourite boot. It's just the stripes for me. I know Adidas have remade the boot quite a lot, and it's just, and I think I'll just continue to buy everything that has those stripes on the side. So them for me.
And I know we've spoken a lot about the link between boots and players and the nostalgia and how it reminds you. So that links quite well to my next question. And Craig, I'll ask you first. Who is the first player that comes to mind when I ask you who wears the best boots in the game? And that can be someone that is playing presently or in the past.
I'm just going to go for these boots again because I would say I'm a bit of a football boot purist, but Zidane didn't even used to have the tongue. I mean, traditionally it doesn't flap over very well, and it used to do the closed pegs on it, trying to keep it down, all that sort of stuff. Zidane never used to have it down, always just up like that. On the regular person, never looked very good at all, but on him he could pull it off. But then obviously by the same token, Beckham used to have it pinned right down and it looked equally as good. So.
And Ryan, you must play against so many different kinds of characters in non-league football. Is there a player that springs to mind in the present day?
A player that springs to mind currently, I wouldn't say in the game now, in non-league, because everyone just wears whatever boots, because they're so accessible now. Everyone's wearing all sorts of boots. But one player that stands out to me, professional, that's retired now, is Ronaldinho. And he's total 90s when he done that flip-flap on that advert. And I said, I've got to get those boots. I think he just wore that with so much swag. And just, I think, the way that he moved on the pitch. So, yeah, I was drawn to that boot because of him, definitely.
Yeah, what a player. Lads, so thanks so much for your time. It's been awesome. I could chat about boots all day. If you want to know more about FootSource, check out footsource.co.uk and get yourself a subscription. We'll put the links in the description down below.
And we hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Make sure that you catch up on all the previous Grassroots Rambles that have been and subscribe so that you know when the next video drops. You can also connect with us on the socials at MyClubPro using the hashtag #ThatGrassrootsRamble. Until next time, take good care and we'll see you again soon.
If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a ramble.